Okay, eyes down and away we go. The first thing taking a microwave apart is to take all the screws out around the outside that hold the shell on. So here I'm about to undo the fan housing screws. You can do that afterwards, but it's easy to undo all this stuff now. So I'm going to undo the transformer screws. It's a lot easier to undo the transformer now because it can't fall anywhere. If you've got all the shell off and everything out, you undo the transformer, it could fall. Also of note, I undo the bottom screws first because if not, the weight of the transformer will pull forward and make the screws harder to take out. Right, I'm going to take the drill driver and I'm going to undo the earth cables from the body of the microwave, and then I'm going to give the fan housing a little tap with a hammer because the clips are stuck. After that, I'm going to start trimming out the wire. There's some brass clips inside, but the life's too short. I don't get that far into the micro scrapping, so most of the time I just trim the wire out of these.
I'll take you to the ends of the earth, or whatever you're worth. 'Cause I've got some plans for you and me, my baby, Mary Jane. So lay next to me, and I'll do ya till it causes real pain. It's not the way that I see her, but it's the way that I feel.
Okay, I'm going to undo the magnetron housing, put that out of the way. Always be careful with magnetrons because they can be dangerous. After that, I'm free to take out the transformer, which we've already undone. I'm not going to show how to take the transformer apart. Screen in screen, I did a video before called No Grinding Disc, No Problem. Shows you how I take apart transformers with an old wood chisel. Speaking of old wood chisels, you need to cut through the plate that covers the turntable motor in the microwave. So a wood chisel, just bosh through those. They're very small, and it's one screw or two, and you get an extra motor and a bit of wire that's still left on it that I couldn't cut before. The best source of copper in a microwave is the magnetron, but it's not easy to get to. I start with loosening the plug up and punching it through. If you look, the back of the magnetron is crimped and it's hard to get in there to the number 2 copper wire that's in there, so it's easy to snip later if you loosen it up now. Next up, you can see there are tabs on the inside which make it hard to pull the front off. You can see that screen in screen there. So what I do is either prise it open or take the trusty wood chisel and just bosh straight through it. So I'm in the magnetron. Next up, as I pull the magnetron out and pull all that number 2 copper wire out. Now, what I'm likely to do is snip it halfway, pull the magnet over the top, and then I can pull the wire out and get to the contacts and cut them inside the body of the magnetron. That way, I'm not losing any of that number 2 copper wire.
Well, something that isn't seen by mere mortal.
there's a magnet. Now I'm going to have to take the snips and cut all of these aluminium blades off. If you look at the magnetron, it looks like iron until you see that scratch there. You see it's a nice thick piece of copper. It's not easy to get to. I'm going to take all these aluminium blades off, and then we have to take it to the vise. Either use a hacksaw or a grinder to cut the ends off, because the ends are iron.
I gotta break the seal.
Nice, thick and bright copper.
I'll take you to the ends of the earth, or whatever you're worth.
I have to mention that the magnetrons are dangerous. The ceramic parts, my understanding is if you get a white ceramic part, that's an old one and it's very toxic, and if you get it in your system it will kill you. But I don't want to risk it of any of them, so don't crack them, don't break them, and always wash your hands and all that good stuff.
But it's the way that I feel. It's not the way that I squeeze on her. I gotta break the seal.
Okay, I'm going to undo these screws to separate the fan motor from the housing. After that, I'm going to trim up the little bits of household cable from it and stick those straight in the bucket.
It's not the way that I squeeze on her. I gotta break the seal. Yeah, it's not the way that I see her, but it's the way that I feel. Yeah, it's not the way that I squeeze on her. I gotta break the seal.
Okay, I'm going to clip that little ballast off. Okay, getting the wire off of the ballast. Now I've done this before, and you poke it through and poke it through, and it gets easier as you go, and that's one way to do it, but there's an easier way.
Hey, little girl, would you like to see what I got in my pocket?
The easier way is you give it a little bit of Sammy Love, and you give it a clout with a hammer, watching your fingers, and break the iron in the ballast, and then it's a lot easier to take apart.
Souls accept me, so what do you say? Would you like to play truth or dare with me? It's not the way that I see her, but it's the way that I feel. It's not the way that I squeeze on her. I gotta break the seal. And if I'm gonna feel what you got in your ocean or not, I'll take you to the ends of the earth, or whatever you're worth. 'Cause I've got some plans
The coil on the motor comes out easy enough. It's just kind of forced in there, so you just have to force it back out, give it a clout with the hammer, and it should pop straight out.
It's not the way that I squeeze on her. I gotta break the seal.
So I just push the piece of iron out the middle. Now there's a way I used to do these, which is to trim the top off with some snips or whatever and cut through the plastic and then pull it off. But if you get the tiniest bit in there, if you'll see in the main picture, it makes it really hard to take off. Whereas if you've got some decent snips, cut straight through the body of it and it will come straight off.
But it's the way that I feel. It's not the way that I squeeze on her. I gotta break the seal. Yeah, it's not the way that I see her, but it's the way that I feel. Yeah, it's not.
Now the wire in these is likely to be aluminium wire, not copper, exactly the same as the transformers. All of these transformers are aluminium now. It's up to you whether you weigh it in as aluminium or if you sneak it in your wire bin. I would obviously never do such a thing. So more tiny pieces of copper. I've clipped through those with a chisel, and now I need to get the mole grips on and yank them out. You don't get much, but it all adds up.
But it's the way that I feel. It's not the way that I squeeze on her. I gotta break the seal.
As you can see, I've done many microwaves today, and I've got lots of these fiddly bits to carry on and doing. Thanks for watching.